Hello YouTube. All right, man, first of all, I owe you guys an apology. Been really busy with some other stuff and I should have got this out, but when we last spoke, as you know, the tree was unfortunately taken out by a storm. We had to remove it, and turned out that 20 years worth of roots in that bed turned out to be a much larger project than I ever anticipated. We had the stump grinder come out twice to get rid of the stump and grind as many stumps as they could. And then it took days and quite a bit of equipment. Thank goodness you can go rent large equipment, but we had to really dig things up. I wound up with a bunch of dirt in the backyard and an entire trailer, which I'll show you in a moment, that was just full of roots. But the end result is that's all gone, and the sod is in. We used about a pallet and a half of sod, and then I got the rest of it to my neighbor who's working on his. And you can see it's established pretty well at this point. It's been out here for a couple of weeks, about 2-3 weeks now. Still got some little edges that are still taking, but it's in, and it's actually attached. I was just pulling on it, and it's doing well. I have not mowed this. I don't plan on mowing this for probably a couple more weeks minimum. I want to let it get attached really well. So just for reference, this is where the tree and the bed was. We moved back, have transferred some of the dirt up into here, cut in this bed. I like this much better. My wife doesn't. She wants the tree. We're not going to go there. I'm going to do my best to not have a tree out here. So I think she's buying into it. As you can see, a little bit around the edge, just where we cut, that'll grow in. You can see this area here. This was the original sod that we put in from the other tree. As you can see, it's taken well. I still got a couple areas that are a little lighter color than the rest of the yard. The rest of the yard got fertilizer. This area didn't, because the fertilizer was done a little before. I think that's what we're seeing there, but you can see it's starting to green in. The sod's doing well. The parts of the lawn that are established are doing phenomenal. I need to mow right now, but you can get a good look here. I mean, it's very thick, very healthy, doing well, growing like crazy. I'm gonna mow tonight, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like right now, I'm very happy with it. This area here, a month or so ago, was just like this. It had an edge around it, so in the last month and a half, that all grew in. So I'm thinking this will take off here relatively soon and grow in very well. I'll also show you the back and the side of the building here, which, I'll show you, gets quite a bit of shade, but it's doing well. Made some changes in the back, because when we bought the sod, I needed more than a pallet, but not quite 2 pallets. So wound up using the first pallet, and then on the second pallet, we patched in a few areas out here. Even one of the areas that I had put some plugs into, just because I didn't want the sod to go to waste. And then finally, I got to the point to where I just gave it some to my neighbor who worked out a trade. As you can tell, this is pretty shady. In the afternoons, the sun comes back this way, so we get sun in here. But this area has really surprised me. I thought that it wouldn't do well, but it gets enough evening sun. You can tell over here, it gets little to no sun, and that's an issue. So long term, I'm just see what it does. I don't think it'll grow into there. So what I'll probably do is just put a small bed along the edge of the building here with some mulch or something in it and call it a day. You can tell we had a little spot here that hadn't grown in yet, and we threw some sod down there. I will give you guys, let me get this gate open real quick. I'll give you guys a look. So yeah, so we got sod down there. The sod out here, the original seeded areas out here in the back are doing very well. This is the trailer I was talking about, so that'll give you a reference. That trailer was full and up to about here with nothing but roots. And I finally got that. By the way, most of the dumps won't take roots. I found that out the hard way. So I finally found a place that would take it. As you can tell, this is an area very shady in the morning. Trees here, sun right there, sun comes up and over. But this area is done fairly well with the sod, with the seed. This area is all seed, no sod up here. A few weeds in here that are getting choked out. And this was the area that we put plugs in. And as you can see, the plugs have done really well this year. They're growing quite a bit. And I have no doubt this will fill in. You can see runners going all over the place here. You can see runners. So by next season, I think this will be filled in. All right, so the changes that we did make, as you recall, this was plugs, and plugs ran all the way down here. this one area here was not doing as well. I'll explain why in just a moment, but since we had the extra sod, we just put a tiller on this, and unfortunately that's what we took up. I've still got to spread that or get rid of that. That was done after I'd already got everything into the trailer over there. So this we dug up and put down sod here, and what was going on was and I would give this to you as a suggestion. If you have trees and you have shaded areas, you can see there was a branch right here, and then up here on this tree there was another branch coming out. I'm probably gonna have to take this one out also, but there was a second piece on it that came out and over here, and this piece here came out, and it shaded this whole area through here pretty heavily in the afternoon. The sun normally comes over behind us here, and it gets great sun in the afternoon, but that was preventing that from happening. So we put the sod in here. I cut those down and hauled them off, and I'm gonna see how that does. If it needs more sun, I'm gonna take down this final branch here and have it up there. So the net is, and this is what I was going to do with the tree out front. I think that if you have shady areas and you go up 15, 20 feet on your trees and cut as much as you can out to allow sun to get under there, I think you, depending on where you live, every situation is going to be a little different, but I think that you can, get yourself enough sun that you can have this work. Like I said, these areas here don't get, full sun, but they do well. I think that you just have to look at where your trees are and look at what you can do. And if you are able to trim them back, like for instance, this tree doesn't have any effect on the yard, but I would be going up to like in there and taking all that out from it to let the angle of the sun get more sun under there. And I think you can, sort of adjust it. As you can tell, just my tomatoes are almost to the end of the season, but doing well out here. And the peppers, just as a little side note, sorry. But yeah, so we put another piece of sod down here at the bottom, just because, like I said, we had extra. But as you can tell, this backyard has really done well with the seed. And I'll give you a look at it here. It's very thick, definitely soft. I love this grass, guys. I can tell you if you haven't put it in, when you do, I mean, this is lush. This is very soft. It feels good on your feet, and it's kicking butt right now. I've got a few areas in here that are got a little where I was mowing and had I needed new blades and stuff like that, but now that's all coming up and doing well. But if you're thinking about putting it in, I can tell you my kids love running on it. My wife loves coming out and walking around barefoot and things. It's very soft. So all right, so there's the update. A little bit longer than I wanted, but right now we're doing well. Oh, and just so you know, if you watched the previous videos, this was a couple of feet of a bed at the beginning of the season. And as you can tell, I was telling you it would grow in, and you can already see that when we did this, I went ahead and just raked up what was, we raked up what was left of the needles and took them out of here. Now, just to give you a good idea, the sun is really heavy all in here in the afternoon. And you see how the Zoysia's running. Over here, there's more morning shade. And it does get afternoon sun, but it gets, it's more shaded in the morning than this area over here. You can tell this area over here is already starting to get sun, whereas all this doesn't. The Zoysia's surviving, and it is running. You can see that it's running here, and there are runners going, but it's just slower. So I think that's the way that it sort of works out. If you have areas where it can get a lot of sun, it takes off and it'll thrive. If you have areas where it gets not as much, there's sort of a border there to where you'll have to assess it and see if you can open it up to get more sun. Is it enough sun for it to stay and be healthy and grow slower? Or do you have too much shade and it starts to brown up on you? And you just have to watch those things and trim for it. But so far, very pleased with it and enjoying it. I hope this all helps you guys. And thank you guys for messaging me on the other videos and kicking me in the butt to get another video out. I hope everybody's doing well. I know COVID's still driving everybody nuts, but I hope you and your families are enjoying things and coming up on a holiday weekend here and you can spend some time with them. Talk to you guys later.